What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction video, and in this one we have what I miss most about the UK, coming from a Canadian. Before we dive into this video, if you happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe, give that video a like, and let's dive right in.
Is this thing on? Hi everyone, it's me. My name is Alana and I'm a Canadian, but I have been living in the UK for the last 8 years, but we are not in the UK today. We are here in Canada. I'm going to tell you right now, this video is going to be a mess. So I hope you're okay with that. Number one, we are here in Canada. I always like to try and film outside when we're here. We just had a massive thunderstorm like a half hour ago. It's sunny again. So fingers crossed we don't get another one. At least
yes, a half hour ago, and you already outside filming. That okay? That's what we doing. But I like that she likes filming outside. That's really cool.
Let me film this and then it can storm. That's fine. Number two, I've been here in Canada for just over a week now, visiting my family here at my mom's place. You might recognize this place. I usually film here when I'm in Canada. And number three, I have COVID. Yeah, I wish that was a joke, but it's not.
That sucks.
The last couple of days have been a mess, but we're here. I can speak now, kind of. I sound a bit weird because, yeah, that's the COVID thing happening. But we're here. It stopped thunderstorming, so I'd like to just take a minute, sit with you guys, and talk about all of the British things that I miss when I'm here in Canada. I think that was like all of the updates. I'll remember something in a minute. Anyway, what a time, my guys. What a time. I come home to Canada once a year. It's kind of in a open joke that I always get ill. And this year it's COVID. So, what more can I say? Also, can you...
The music system, it doesn't adjust it over to the UK. It doesn't just... So when you go back to Canada, it's not really to fight everything that the Canada atmosphere is bringing at you, because it's adjusted to the UK atmosphere. So and that's why you just keep getting sick. Your immune system, it's not used to fighting the Canada atmosphere no more.
You hear all the bugs? I feel like the bugs are so much louder here in Canada. We also have a plane. I don't know if you can hear the plane. And we have a pool behind you, and the pool pump is not working so great. And it's kind of making a noise. You might hear that too. Just pretend you don't. Oh, and guess what?
What?
This video is sponsored by Tuza. Hello and welcome to the Canada office.
I ever go skip the sponsor because I always skip the sponsors. So, alright, get it right there.
Comparing rates for the right card payment provider for your business. Make sure to use my link in the description. Okay, let's just have a seat, get cozy. Let's talk. All right, let's talk about British things.
Let's do that.
I have my list here because my brain kind of feels like mush. Like, I don't think I could remember details of most things. I have a list here. And the first one on my list that I would like to talk about that I miss: walking to places. To be honest, walking anywhere. So here in Ontario, I am from Southern Ontario. Ontario is obviously a very big place. I'm from Southern Ontario and I live in a town. I don't live in the country. I don't live in a big city, but I do live in a town. I can't walk anywhere. I can't walk to the post office. I can't walk to a bus stop. I can't walk to the train station. I can't walk to the shops, to the cinema.
Can't walk nowhere.
Anywhere. I can't walk anywhere. And coming from a town in England where I can walk to places, and I do walk places. I don't have a car in England. I sold my car a long time ago.
Oh, nice.
Not having that ability to just get up and be like, hey, I forgot something for dinner. I'm gonna pop to Sainsbury's, and I just walk there, right? I can't do that here, and it drives me insane, especially when it comes to food. I think about food a lot, so obviously food is going to come up on this list in a hot second, but the thing that I've noticed that I've gotten really bad at is I don't really like meal plan very well. So my partner and I will be like, what do you want to have for dinner tonight and tomorrow? We might do like 2 days of planning so that one of us walks to the shop, buys some stuff for maybe 2 or 3 days, and then you go back, right? Like, it's, I like the walk. I like to get out and I like to walk, and I'll buy just like 2 things from the shop and make dinner. Here, obviously, we can't do that, and I'm not driving here either. So I've been trying. I've been trying to be good about like, okay, Monday we're having this for dinner. Here's all the things we need for that dinner. Tuesday, this is what we're having for lunch, and this is what we're having for dinner. And then these are the snacks that I want. And being like really specific about writing a good shopping list, because it is not as simple as just walking back and buying a thing or two, because it's literally not possible. And with that, number two.
That sucks because I feel like your cravings change over days. So you might have said you're going to have this for dinner on Thursday, but now you said that on Monday. Now it's Thursday. You don't really want that for dinner. You want something else. But I can understand her perspective of where she's coming from. Just being able to get anywhere, being able to walk anywhere. A lot of people do enjoy walking. I enjoy walking. And so being able to like walk to the shops or walk wherever she needs to go. It's nice to get out, to stretch your legs, soak in some sun. It's just nice. And then when she goes to Canada, she can't walk, she don't drive either. So it's like, yeah, now you got to plan all of this when in the UK you really just had to plan a day or two worth of food. And then if you forget something, you just pop back to the shop, just walk. Everything is in walking distance. That's nice. Yeah, walking is a good form of exercise. Get out there, stretch your legs, get out of the house. It is very nice. And so I can understand her coming back to Canada and not really being able to do any of that would absolutely suck. It would absolutely suck. What's number two?
Wow. I feel out of breath. Oh, give me a second. With number two, a British thing that I miss while I'm in Canada is the cost, but also the quality of food. Now, I love to eat.
Same.
Surprise. You would be maybe not shocked, maybe shocked how many people email me being like, yo, you eat too much. Never asked you. I love to eat. I truly...
Who is so disrespectful? Who has the nerve, the absolute audacity to email somebody and say that? Okay.
Really love doing taste tests. I've started this YouTube channel. One of the first few videos I was doing were taste test videos. I love trying new foods and stuff.
I want to try some new food.
Fun and accessible in the UK, whereas I have found here that the cost of just general food, not even like specialty stuff, not even organic stuff or foreign stuff, just the cost of general food is expensive. A couple of ones that I wrote down because I was quite surprised. Cheese. We gotta talk about cheese. Cheddar cheese. This is a couple of points. Number one, the cheese in the UK is some of the best in the world. I don't think the UK gets a lot of credit. You guys have really, really good cheese. And really nice, like local, interesting, small farm kind of cheese. That is accessible. And you can get it at regular supermarkets, which is very, very cool. Here, to get a block of cheddar cheese, nothing organic, nothing that great. To be completely honest, it tastes a bit plasticky. The block of cheddar cheese that we got at a budget supermarket, did I say that right? At Walmart, which is a budget place, was $8. $8 for, I don't want to like trash Canada. The cheese doesn't taste great. It tastes very plasticky to me now. $8. I also wrote down we got
$8 is crazy work. You feel me? Of course you can get cheaper cheese, but like she said, you gonna get that plasticky taste. But if you gonna get the plasticky taste either way, get the cheap block of cheddar cheese. You ain't gotta pay for the $8. I don't know how it is in Canada though. I know in the U.S. groceries are expensive, so I completely understand where she's coming from. Seen videos where UK and US grocery prices compare, so it's cheaper in the UK. But yeah, US groceries are expensive. But to pay $8 for that little block of cheddar cheese she just put up is absolutely crazy, especially if it's gonna give you the same taste as the cheap version. Now, if it was gonna be some high quality taste with that cheese, $8 is still expensive, but at least you're getting higher quality cheese. But if you're gonna get you the same taste, get the cheap cheese.
4 chicken breasts for $14.
Nah,
chicken breasts for $14 from a budget supermarket, non-organic, just regular run-of-the-mill.
Canada out here robbing people. I thought I would get robbed in the U.S. No, I thought I was not Canada. Y'all dirty. I could get like a pack of freaking 8 to 10 chicken breasts for $14. Canada, y'all, I don't know what y'all doing, but you're dirty.
Entry level chicken breasts and entry level cheddar cheese.
That's
I feel
crazy
like the food
word.
here is just, on the whole, quite a bit more expensive. Again, I don't eat organic. I don't eat organic stuff. I don't shop at like fancy places. And same in the UK. Don't really seek out organic stuff or specialty stuff. I'm talking about Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, like just your run-of-the-mill grocery stores. The quality of food there is really good. And maybe you don't appreciate it or think about it until you go grocery shopping in another country, but it is something that I've really noticed here. The cost of food and the overall quality. I feel like I've been talking for a million years. We should probably move on to the next point. Another thing that I miss about the UK when I'm here in Canada is the quirky character. Now, sometimes British people hate when I say quirky, but I just did it, and I'm going to do it again. Quirky. The UK is old. Relatively speaking, the UK is old. You got a lot of old buildings, a lot of really interesting old architecture. There's a lot of history. There's a lot of character in your towns and your villages and your cities, and just like everyday shops can be really interesting to look at. It does come with its own negatives, which I will get to in a hot second, but overall, the UK has a lot of character, a lot of what's another word for quirky? A lot of interesting, different kind of aesthetics. It just got really windy. I hope the mic's not picking that up. I used to go to Specsavers for like an eye test every year, every 2 years. And I remember I had an optometrist, and of course they hear my voice and they're like, oh, where are you from? And why are you here? And you kind of do that sort of small talk stuff. I'm like, I'm from Ontario, I'm from Canada, I live here now. And this interaction, I've had that interaction a lot, but this one stood out to me because he was like, oh, I used to work in Ontario as an optometrist. He came here to Ontario, he was working for a bit, went back to the UK, and he said something that I thought was really interesting, is that Canada felt very sterile to him compared to what he was used to in the UK. That idea that it was kind of lacking that sort of wonky, quirky character in the architecture and in the buildings and the town layouts and all that kind of... Was that a bee? Doesn't matter. And I totally get that. Canada is comparatively young. Our buildings are largely purpose-built. So a supermarket builds their building to house that supermarket. They build a parking lot that will suit that supermarket. It's usually like a big square brick building. And oftentimes they're not the nicest thing to look at. They aren't like historical or anything. They are purpose built. They're very convenient. What more can you ask for? Whereas in the UK, I've gone to a supermarket that's in a building that used to be the post office, that used to be like a really, really old pub, like 400 years old, and they tried to like put a supermarket in it, and the aisles are all messed up, and it's really cramped, and there's like no parking lot. So it's super inconvenient, but it has that sort of quirky character. It has that real history. It's very interesting. It's very aesthetically interesting. I don't know if any of this is making sense. It is so humid. I don't know.
I completely understand where she's coming from when she says like quirky character. Like she said, the UK is a very old place. It's full of a lot of old buildings, and it's that history that she's talking about when she talks about like quirky character and everything. I mean, she's mainly just talking about like history, and back in the day they used to build different. They used to build buildings differently, and like she said, now like you find a supermarket in what used to be a freaking pub like 400 years ago, and everything's all. But it's like cool because it gives it character. When you go in the UK, you got like all these castles and all these buildings built way back when that have survived until today that people still use. Whereas in these younger countries such as Canada, such as the US, like it's all purpose built. It's not really. There's not really a lot of history in these countries because we are very young compared to a country like the UK that has so much history intertwined within it. And so it's just lacking that. You feel me? And I think as time goes, of course, the US, the UK, all the younger countries will have that character, will have that history. But I mean, you really can't compete with the UK when it comes to that because they've just been around for so much longer. That's really interesting though.
If you can, it's kind of, the sun's kind of coming out. I'm under a little
I see it.
gazebo thing because I thought it was going to rain again. The sun is coming out. It is so humid. I'm not used to this. I've been in an air-conditioned bedroom all week. A British thing that I always miss, and I will die on this hill, is tax being included in the final price. Or the ticket
feel
price.
that.
You know, tax being included. It's definitely something that I moan about every time I come to Ontario. I go back to England and I forget about it, and then I come back to Ontario, I get sick, and then I complain about the tax. So, for instance, here in Ontario, can you hear the bugs?
I can't.
They scream so much louder here. So here in Ontario, before I got sick, my mom and I went to the mall because I hadn't been to the mall in a long time. I wanted to, mooch around. And we went to a shop and I was like looking at the prices and stuff. And you have to remind yourself that the ticket price is not the final price. In Ontario, I think the added tax is 13%. So when you're buying stuff at the supermarket, at the mall, and you're looking at the price tag and you're trying to add stuff up in your head, you have to remember that it's plus the tax, which I just hate. I hate it. Let's figure this out. I don't want to do this anymore. Next up, I don't know what number it is because...
I'm going to say I completely agree with her. Of course, I've never been to the UK and got that luxury. But I think that would absolutely be a luxury for the price to actually be for the tax to actually be included in the price. And so you know exactly what you're going to be paying when you get to the counter instead of trying to guess all the extra tax that will be added on. It's dumb. I want to know exactly what I'm paying. UK, y'all doing it right on that front.
Mush brain. Another thing that I miss about the UK when I'm here has to do with prescriptions. And having been ill the last week, we've been talking a lot about this, and every time I think about it, it honestly makes me angry. From a very basic sort of entry-level viewpoint, healthcare in Canada and the UK is very similar. I think a lot of British people think Canada is like the US, where you're paying at the point of entry. It's not the case.
Crazy.
Canada, healthcare, very similar to the NHS. That same sort of vibe. They're not the same, but it's very similar. You're not going to go bankrupt if you have to go to the doctors or you have to go to the hospital, right? Canada, UK, similar-ish. Not exactly, because
I got you.
So I know in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, you guys get free prescriptions. England, love ya. England, we don't. We have to pay for them. But the last time I checked, it's £9.90 per each prescription item.
That's not bad.
Or if you have loads of them, you can pay for a certificate. I think they're a yearly thing, and you pay X amount and you can have as many prescriptions as you need, so it could work out to be cheaper. But at the very least, £9.90 for your item. If you are even just minimally unwell, remotely unwell, maybe you have a couple prescriptions, even really basic stuff, you could be looking at hundreds of dollars in prescriptions every month. That's disgusting. As far as I know, there is no cut off, prescription items have to cost this, we do in England. It's this is your prescription, this is another prescription, this is a generic version of another prescription. It's going to be $200.
Crazy work. Crazy work.
Literally gross. So I know it's very easy to talk about the NHS and all the things bad with the NHS because, hot topic, the NHS is not perfect and it certainly needs some movement. We need to kind of maybe look at that. More qualified people should look at it. However,
I feel
the fact that you can go to your pharmacy in Scotland or go to the pharmacy in England. Scotland, you're going to pay nothing, right? Insane. England, £9.90, £10, all right?
Yeah.
Compared to hundreds of dollars here in Canada. Just think about that next time you have to get prescriptions, okay? Just think about it.
I really can't even say anything as I live in the U.S. where we all know medical debt is the leading thing in people going bankrupt. Is medical debt over here. So I'm not even going to enter the chat. I'm not going to enter the conversation. I'll just say shout out UK, shout out Scotland, shout out England. Like, yeah, £10 per prescription isn't bad, and then you have the NHS. And so I think both systems are good. In Canada, prescriptions, that is a little high, but in the US, look at what we pay. So who am I to say that's high? But I feel like I missed out about the UK as well. If going from prescription prices, if I went from £10 to possibly hundreds, of course I missed that too.
Oh, that really shocked me. Did you see that?
I did.
I think it's a moth. Oh, he's coming back. Problem with filming out here is so distracting. I already feel like I got mushy, sick brain. I'm almost better, not quite, but we're getting there. Anyway, what was the next point we wanted to talk about? Oh, the kettle. You can't call yourself an immigrant in the UK until you complain about the kettle, and I'm going to do that right now. My partner and I both like coffee. We have a coffee in the morning. In England, we use a V60 pour-over method. So you've got a filter with like a V60 cone. You put the coffee grounds in it, and you pour your kettle over top, and it drips into the coffee. It's really nice. And when we come to Ontario, we have the same setup. So we have a V60 that we leave here with like filters and everything. However, the time it takes to boil the kettle makes me want to jump in front of traffic. I did an experiment, I think it was last year, where I boiled a liter of water. In England, it took me just over 2 minutes to boil a liter of water in our kettle. Here in Ontario, the same amount with a nice, newish, pretty new kettle. Do you want to know how long it took? 6 minutes.
6 minutes is crazy work.
Yes. So every time we want a coffee in the morning, waiting for that kettle to boil, not fun. And honestly, if I moved back to Ontario, I would have to change my coffee method because I literally cannot. It takes so long. It takes so long. And that's my rant. Thanks for listening. Now there are...
that extra 4 minutes in the morning, you may say to yourself, you might be at home watching this video, say 4 minutes, I mean, that's not really, you gonna do much, like 4 minutes. 4 minutes makes a difference. When you, I guess in her case, when you need that coffee, I don't like coffee, but when that coffee is an absolute necessity, those 4 minutes that you lose every morning start to make a difference. I understand it. Because I look at it from a perspective of if I'm scrolling on the internet, right? And if I'm here with my Wi-Fi in the U.S. where internet goes pretty quickly, you know what I'm saying? Click, click, things are happening almost instantaneously, very quickly. And I go to a country maybe that has a little bit worse internet. Maybe it takes 10 seconds for the page to load up instead of instantaneous. It will start to irritate me after a while. Like, I will be like, we've got to go home. I cannot with this internet. It's absolutely awful. So it's the tiny, tiny inconveniences that it's like that pebble in your shoe. That pebble in your shoe. After a while, you can't walk anymore. It's too irritating. So those little inconveniences, they'll start to build up on you and start to annoy the living daylights out of you. So I understand that 4 minutes, it's an inconvenience that she doesn't have in the UK.
Are a couple of things that don't really impact me while I'm here on holiday. Stuff like the UK has free museums. I had a museum video recently. Did you guys watch it? In the UK, free museums, fabulous. Canada, no. Absolutely not. Other things like in the UK, you get extensive holiday leave, vacation time, holiday time. In Canada, no, you do not. Or Christmas markets. In the UK, you get some really lovely Christmas markets. Even little villages might put on a Christmas market. Here in Ontario, not so much. Maybe a big city, maybe you have a tiny little thing in town, but not really. Yeah. But those aren't really things that impact me while I'm on holiday. They would impact me if I decided to move back to Canada. Who knows? Might happen. Knock on wood, fingers crossed, I don't know. Like, it might happen, and those things would really bother me if it did. But these are some of the British things that I really missed. Did you guys miss the bugs? It got so sunny all of a sudden. Look at, hold on, I shouldn't do this. It's gonna get everybody dizzy. Are you kidding me?
Nice pool.
So, could you tell that we literally just had thunder and lightning like a half hour ago?
I can tell that you live in a nice house. In Canada. I can tell that you live in a nice house.
I don't think so. Well, I'll tell you what. I am sweating through my clothes. Just wanted to let you guys know that. Does that look alright? Anywho, yeah, missing stuff from the UK. It's a weird concept. I'm not British. Obviously, that's very obvious. I don't think anyone would mistake me for a British person once I open my mouth. But there's so much that I miss. I miss my home. I miss my routine. I miss my cheap and plentiful cheese. That moth, did you see that moth? However, if our countries were identical, if they were the exact same, that sounds really boring, right? You wouldn't want to go out and explore and travel if all countries are the same. Do you know what I mean?
Facts.
Anyway, wow, I'm so out of breath. I hope you guys like this video, and if you stuck around to the end, God bless you. I hope you're doing okay, and I hope you are not ill, alright? I've been washing my hands like you wouldn't believe. Also, huge shout out to Tuza. I'm really excited to work with them. Make sure to check out my link in the description. Next week, I actually have a video that I've already filmed when I was back.
I think that's all of her talking about the UK and things that she would miss, or things that she does miss when back home in Canada. And a lot of those things, I feel like US is similar to Canada on a number of those things. Although the healthcare out of Canada is still a lot cheaper than us. So we're not very similar in that aspect. Though, y'all's cheese and what else did... Oh, and the chicken breast. There's got to be cheaper versions Canada. Because that was insanity. She said, she said she ain't even going for nothing fancy, nothing organic, just regular. Shouldn't be that much. That was crazy work. But, that was a good video. Tell me some of the things that you guys really enjoy about the UK that maybe when you travel abroad, if you travel abroad, that you really miss about the UK when you leave. Things you may take for granted, but when you go abroad, you really start to miss those things and you can't wait to get back to the UK and enjoy those things. I love to hear that from you guys. I know there's things, even in your certain state in the US, that when I go to another state, I really miss in a certain state. So I know there has to be plenty of things when you're traveling to another country. So y'all talk to me in the comment section. Y'all talk to me about the things she talked about in this video. You guys understand. You guys can relate. I want to hear from y'all. However, that's all we have for this. If you guys enjoyed, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Check out that next one. See you guys next time.